Coming to you live from the Mac Studio, it's Whitney High School Live. And I'm your host, Ben Espejo. Well, hey guys, welcome to Thursday's edition of Whitney High School Live. Let's kick our show off with another faculty feature, this time featuring Miss Sasha Leonardo. Let's take a look.
Hi, so my name is Mrs. Leonardo, and I'm a counselor in the College and Career Center, and my passion is working out. I've been working out since I was a little girl. My dad was a competitive bodybuilder and owned his own gym, and so for me, fitness was just a way of life. Ironically, I wasn't always the fittest growing up, and my family would often joke around like, oh, you know, Sasha, you're so strong, you're such a good eater. I started working out to be healthier, but now as I'm older, I especially look to working out more for the mental, so not for the actual physical part of it. But my favorite part of working out is weights. And I know a lot of females shy away from weights. They think it's going to bulk them up, they're not going to look feminine. But for me, I don't see a change unless I'm using weights. My dad always told me, like, don't just do cardio because you're going to be like, you know, like mushy. Like, you have to do weights, it keeps you strong, and it's true. And it helps build your metabolism as well. And at home, it's like, when my kids are still sleeping, sometimes I have to work out barefoot. I actually do workout videos at home when I have free time. So if I have like 30 minutes here or there, I'll actually work out in our playroom, and I go about it barefoot. Everyone knows I'm a huge fan of Beyonce, and for some odd reason when I work out to Beyonce, I always work out a little bit harder. I don't know why, maybe because she's like a strong mom, and that's what I hope to strive to, be a successful, independent woman. But yeah, my workout's always on point when I'm working out to Beyonce. Get out there, go work out, I love it, it's my passion, and it's just a great way to stay healthy and to keep that balance, because I know we're all stressed, we all have a lot of work, so I encourage everyone to go out and do it.
Thank you, Miss Leonardo. I'm going to throw it over now to our segment producer, Karen Malicon, for another Lifeboat Conversation.
Thank you, Ben. Welcome to our third edition of Lifeboat Conversations. Remember, we're not here to assign points or pick a winner. We're here to hold an intelligent discussion between two people. Today we have special guests, seniors Rudy and Neil, to discuss the following topic. Is freedom of speech always appropriate? Let's flip a coin to see who will go first. Okay, Neil, you're up.
All right, thanks, Karen. So I'm going to start by saying that freedom of speech is always appropriate, because that is the entire philosophy behind the right that is given to us, is that anyone can say anything they want whenever they feel is necessary. And once we start putting restrictions and limitations on those rights, that's when it stops being the right that it's meant to be. Martin Luther King Jr. once said that, I'm paraphrasing here, a just law is one that is applicable to all and that it treats everyone equitably. But once we start putting limitations on what someone can say and we start restricting that right, it stops becoming a just law. And furthermore, when you look at recent issues and situations like the Charlie Hebdo incident, it's very important that we respect the right to say what you want, because although it may sometimes have violent repercussions, it only reinforces the fact that we must be able to say what the things that we want, especially if there are things that need to be said.
Thank you, Neil. Now, Rudy, what do you think?
So, in my opinion, we have things like the First Amendment that protect our freedom to speech and freedom to express ourselves. However, I feel that sometimes the freedom to speech is not always applicable. For example, someone's not allowed to call out fire in a movie theater, or they're not allowed to slander someone else with something that's not true. So sometimes the freedom of speech can be exercised in a way that's incorrect, and sometimes we deem it to not be good or for society in general. For example, you can't lie in court when you testify, and you can't publish something about someone that's a complete falsity, because our society deems that in order for the improvement of society, we can't have freedom of speech at all times, which is why I'm a firm believer that we do need the right to seek truth, but we shouldn't do so in a way where we infringe upon the sovereignty and the rights of other people through our freedom of expression.
Thank you, Rudy. Now, Neil, what is something Rudy said that you can agree with?
So I definitely agree that there is a gray line between what can be said and what cannot be said, and we as a society need to deem what is rather correct or incorrect. And it is a slippery slope to try to climb upon, because there are so many different viewpoints that we have to consider when we're discussing the freedom of speech and whether it's appropriate at all times.
Rudy, what is something Neil said that you can agree with?
Most definitely there is a gray line between it. It's very difficult for, like you had mentioned, for us to say, like, here's something that we can't say versus something we can say. And I think that's something that we're working towards in a democratic system, to see where that gray line is. Martin Luther King put that line almost where just versus unjust law was. And it's something that we definitely have to keep on considering in the future, no matter where we go with this debate.
Thank you. Now, what are some final words you guys would like to leave with the audience?
So what I want to say is that the right to freedom of speech is something that we as a people have to protect and cherish, and we have to be able to execute or exercise that right whenever we feel that it is necessary. And although there may be different viewpoints and gray lines that we have to move across when we're trying to decide what can and cannot be said, we always have to remember it's paramount that we do protect this right and that we do carry it forward in the generations to come.
You know, democracy is a funny thing. I don't have too much experience with democracy. I've only lived in the United States my entire life. But if there's one thing that I've realized, it's that the freedom of expression is extremely important to the American people. And my advice to any Whitney student out there, utilize the freedom of speech in a way to create a meaningful debate like we're doing today, where you don't just simply spew talking points at each other, but you actually understand, you comprehend, and you're willing to change your opinion. Because sometimes the person who wins in an argument isn't the person who convinces the most people, it's the one that learns the most.
Well, thank you guys again for having this conversation on the show, but it doesn't end here. We do want to hear from you guys, so go onto our Facebook page and let us know what you have to say on the matter. That's all for today. This has been Whitney High School Live. I'm Ben Espejo. Have a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow.